really all we're all about. Obviously, the joke is not getting a turkey leg last year, so be able to come in here, get the win, get the turkey leg after. It was very delicious.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chmura. Here's Jen Latta.
I will allow it. I will allow for us to celebrate the Packers beating the Dolphins for approximately 15 more minutes. And then, Mark Chmura, we are turning our attention to the Detroit Lions. Big game this week, Chew. Big game against the Lions this week. Have you seen that the line has moved? It was 5.5.
I did.
I saw 4.5.
Which is interesting.
I believe it's now 3.5.
A lot of confident Packer fans out there. See, I don't think good teams you need to celebrate today, Joshy. Bad teams, yes. No. We move forward. Would you agree? I mean, bad teams celebrate wins more than good teams do.
Yeah, but there is something called momentum, right? Like, I know there are people who don't believe in momentum. I happen to believe in momentum. I think winning a game against the Dolphins helps you feel more confident going into the rematch against the Lions. So I think it's okay to remind ourselves that, hey, team looked pretty good.
Also,
team looked pretty good last Thursday.
For 2/3 of the program, we haven't talked about or really experienced the win. I think there's a lot of people out there who had busy weekends, as we all did, and might have missed the program. Fair. So I'm just getting everyone back in the zone.
Reminding everybody that they won.
Pass.
All right. So again, we're going to start things on a high, but it is Lions week, so we will be talking about that. Packers obviously lost to the Lions. How many weeks ago was that at this point? A month ago?
I got the schedule up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. What am I doing here? No, it was a month ago.
Good counting, buddy.
Well, I saw that. Yeah, I know. Well, hey, it's a Monday.
Tootsie Pop Owl over there.
I don't know. They didn't put the date on here, but it was 4 games ago.
This might be the most Monday of all Mondays, folling Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Yeah? Because you had so much time off?
Had so much time off, and everyone was so busy. It's like I'm not ready to go back.
I saw a video yesterday on Instagram, Chew, that was telling you how to hack 2025. How to schedule hack 2025. Now, if you work weekends or you work different hours, it might not work for you. But it was basically going through all of the federal holidays in 2025 and then telling you which days to take off in advance of or just after to extend your weekend to either a 4-day weekend or a 5-day weekend. And I was taking notes, buddy. I was taking notes. Now, as my husband reminds me, we don't work traditional jobs. It doesn't work that way. I never get a Saturday off in the fall, so that really threw everything into a tailspin pretty quickly. But if you're interested, I highly encourage people to seek that out on social media so you can get your extra long weekends. Because it is nice, isn't it, Chew? Nice to have 5 days off in a row or 4 days off in a row.
Well, this was probably the most productive Thanksgiving I've ever had in my entire life. I'm done Christmas shopping. We had 18 or 20 people over, went on a little mini vacation. I got a lot done.
Wow.
A lot done.
Oh,
but
thanks for sharing.
We came home to no heat in half of the house. Which sounds weird being in Florida.
To say which
but
house?
It's 61 degrees here and I'm freezing. You notice I have a sweatshirt on.
Where's the cry?
The house was at 64, Joshy. Huh? But let me tell you this. I got all my Christmas shopping done. Christmas lights are up. It was a productive weekend.
That is a very productive. We are well on our way when it comes to Christmas shopping, Chew. It's December 2nd, I believe. I feel pretty good about this year. I feel pretty good that we're not going to hit any last-minute snags the way we have sort of gotten ahead of those. Put up all the Christmas decorations yesterday. Trees are up. Stockings are up. Decorations are up.
How about shopping?
Yeah, I got some gifts.
I mean, there were some great Black Friday deals. I'm expecting even better on Cyber Monday, which is today. So, yeah.
Okay.
Good shape.
Well, good. That makes me happy, bud. That makes me happy. Do you feel like the holidays have gotten easier as you've gotten older? Do you think that the invention of the internet and being able to do a lot of your shopping there as opposed to, tackling the hustle and bustle of the malls, you feel like that's sort of contributing to this?
A little bit, but, we went up to St. Augustine to where my in-laws live, which is about a 3.5-hour drive, which turned into about a 4.5-hour drive, because every time you got to like the outlet malls in these towns on the way up, it was like a 20-minute traffic jam. Just was with cars trying to get to them. I didn't think people did that anymore.
So now you're saying that people do still go to the malls.
Say, is shopping in person back? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, there were some real good deals. Real good deals. So.
Do you want to share with us any of the things that you purchased? Or
I got a blower, the DeWalt blower. I got.
Wait a minute, blower? Like a leaf blower?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate you.
What?
I hate leaf blowers.
Huh?
Hate them.
Why?
Bane of my existence,
Loud.
the leaf blower.
Yeah, but they have the battery operated ones, which aren't as loud. And that's what this was. But they're not as good as the gas powered. They don't have the power.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do they blow the leaves then?
Not as good. I'll take gas powered every day, but took care of my wife's done. I think most of the kids are done. Yeah.
What do you mean most of the
Very
kids?
productive weekend.
Are there children that you have not purchased for?
Well, my daughter gets probably combined as much as the 4 boys. That's the only reason we're not done. So, yes, she gets spoiled out of all of them. So.
How'd your daughter feel this weekend about that Ohio State game?
She was crying. She texted at midnight and said she's still very sad. I had to call her yesterday and calm her down. I don't get Ohio State. They should have blown the doors off of Michigan.
100%.
It just shows your rivalry games are big. And if Ryan Day doesn't win the national championship, he's probably out. Would you agree?
I think a lot of things about the Ohio State Michigan. I'm not sure we have time for it right now, but I'll just give you my Cliff's Notes version of it. I think, yes, he has to be one of the top 2 teams standing in the national championship game. I think his buyout is $37 million. I think teams are reluctant to spend money on buying good coaches out of their contracts when that money could go towards roster construction, even though they spent $20 million to score 10 points in the game this weekend. I think he's put way too much pressure on himself and on his team to win that game. I think every press conference I have seen of Ryan Day over the last year, he has mentioned physicality, physical in the trenches. It's like, we get it. We know that was the narrative surrounding Ohio State, Michigan last year. Why you got beat against Harbaugh and company, the eventual national champions. I think it's way out of whack. Way out of whack there.
Is he a good coach?
I think he is a good coach. I actually really like him, but I think that this thing has become an obsession, and I don't think it's healthy. I think it's a game. It's an important game. But this quote that he had earlier this week about other than the death of his father when he was a child, losing to Michigan is the worst thing that has ever happened to his family.
Yeah, but I remember Harbaugh? Harbaugh struggled early on in his tenure at Michigan, and there was talk of firing him, but he eventually he figured it out, There's another program that's close to us that has to figure it out.
Yep, absolutely, after another loss this past weekend.
And then I know later in the show we're going to get to this stupid flag. That's where we're at now, the flag. We're putting a flag in the middle of the opponent's home field and getting pepper sprayed. That's where we're at in sports right now.
You really got to keep your head on a swivel. You really got to keep your head on a swivel here in the first segment of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Right, Joshy? You just, woo!
Roundabout. We did start with the Packers.
Yeah. Well, we can bring it full circle.
How do you feel about the game this weekend, big guy? Are you feeling confident? It's not this weekend. It's on Thursday, of course. It's Thursday night football game. But how are you feeling about the Packers going out to Detroit and taking on the Lions again?
I feel better because I think the defense is playing better. They haven't played anybody on the road this year. So this will be a huge test. And then after watching Philly yesterday, let me tell you what. Philly's good. Philly's good. Philly is real good.
Is Philly better than Detroit?
It's not. Philly may be better. And the only reason I say this is because their defense flies around. Their defense is and that's the difference between right now. That's the difference between the Packers and the Eagles. I think offensively they're pretty comparable. The backs are comparable. The quarterback's comparable. Philly might have a little edge with the receivers, but it's all did you guys watch that game?
The backs are comparable? Wow. High praise for Josh Jacobs if you're saying that he's comparable to Saquon Barkley. You really think so?
I don't think he's far off.
I still think Barkley has got the nod.
A little nod. Yeah, they're a little nod, but they're certainly beatable. I think if it's the divisional round of the playoffs this week against Philly at home's favored by 5.
Yeah,
Fair?
because I also think you mentioned the skill positions. Maybe they're not better. I think they are, Philadelphia. But the drops that the wide receiving core here has had makes me be like, you guys have not been consistent enough for me to give you the nod against Philadelphia's receivers. Well, we can get into that one a little bit later in the show. I still think we should see, how do you think they stack up against the Lions? Because I think to a man, the Lions feel like are still a click above. But that doesn't mean I don't think the Packers can't go into Detroit and win the game. I do. I think that the momentum that they have put together from these last few weeks matters. I think that they are healthy. That matters. I think that they've played them once, so they've got a blueprint. They have seen what worked and what didn't. I think that matters. And I think the Packers are in a really good position to have a hell of a game on Thursday and maybe even shock the world and win the thing. Lions have been tricky. Not tricky. They've been winning games that they should lose, right?
You could say the same for the Packers, though. I mean, they could have lost the Bear game very easily. They throw a flag there. They move it up 5 yards closer, makes the kick. They lose. So it's yeah. I mean, the Packers have a few on there that they were lucky to win.
Right.
I mean,
now,
if they get blown out, where are you going to put them, Jed? Just a good team? Just good?
If they get blown out, well, couldn't they still be one of the top teams in the NFC if you think that the Lions are the best team in the NFC and they get blown out, then the Lions are just head and shoulders above everybody else. So you could still theoretically, if they get blown out, put them at like 4 in the NFC, and that wouldn't be egregious. If you just think the Lions it's like Lions gap. Philly.
No, I don't. Nope.
You think it's Lions-Philly?
After watching yesterday's game with Philly, I don't think there's a gap between. And I tell you this, Philly might be better than Detroit. Because that game was in hand. I mean, it looks closer than it was because Baltimore scored late, and they were playing without Devontae Smith. So, I mean, I was really impressed with Philly. Very impressed.
You like Hurts better or Goff better? Team. Who do you like better?
Right now, the way they're playing, I'd probably take Hurts. You know, and Goff's still playing very well. I think Detroit these last couple weeks, they put the brakes on a little bit too early, especially this last game against the Bears, because it was in hand in the first half. But no, this is going to be a huge test, and it's going to tell us a lot come Friday morning. What kind of team we got?
All right, lots of stuff to get to this morning. Joshy sent over the NFL playoff picture from the New York Times, each team's path to the postseason. Don't want to get too far ahead because we do believe the Packers are a postseason team, and the analytics do agree with that. 99% chance to make the playoffs by the Packers, but just a 4% chance to win the division. I'll tell you what creeps up that number if you beat the Lions, who right now have an 87% chance to win the division. Still not out of the realm of possibility. We got to get to that as the morning goes on. Lots of stuff to get to. Chewy wants to talk about the flag planting. We will get to that as well. And I really like this question that Joshy posed to us on the show sheet. He says, are we starting to experience the peaking we have all been looking for from the Packers? Are the Packers peaking at just the right time? Are they doing what they need to do to duplicate the efforts of last season when they went on that heater in the second half of the year? We'll get to that as Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, still moving along pretty well out there. Volume's picking up, but really not seeing any delays now. Everything on the westbound side of 94 heading into the stadium interchange has been cleared up, so we are actually in good shape. Traffic is brought to you by the Bartolotta Restaurants, providing memorable experiences for nearly 30 years. Get the perfect holiday gift this season, a Bartolotta's gift card. Purchase yours at bartolottas.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, mostly cloudy, turning partly cloudy. Flurries with a high of 32. Then tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 21. Weather is brought to you by the Neil Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit neilgroup.net to learn more. That's neilgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together, we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, and coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection, why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You got to have a condiment with the bread.
Yeah, you want some sort of
alone.
Yeah, you want some sort of lubricant with the bread. Yes, that's correct.
Yes,
it's just necessary.
You follow?
Like, you don't just be sitting there eating like pieces of white bread with nothing on it.
Can't be going dry.
Yeah, it can't be raw dog and just white bread.
On 94.5 ESPN.
If you haven't made your way to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you are missing out on an elite experience. It is a complete sports betting paradise. Guys, if you're short on time, they have 20-minute free parking in the reserve parking structure. They have figured it all out. Bet above the rest only at Potawatomi. Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. Sportsbook is the place to be. It is Lions Week here as the Green Bay Packers head over to Detroit. I was in Detroit twice last week, Monday and Tuesday, for college game day responsibilities. Chew, let me ask you this. Does winning the North matter to you? Are you already resigned to the fact that the Lions have got this sucker locked up at 87%, according to the New York Times playoff predictor, that it doesn't really matter if the Packers beat the Lions because the Packers are likely a playoff team. They'll get another crack at them potentially in the NFC Championship game. I can't imagine in the round before that, but they'll get another crack at them when it really matters in a win-or-go-home situation. Does it matter to win the NFC North this season?
Makes your path a little bit easier. And if they do beat Detroit, I mean, Detroit's got a couple tough games left. They got to play the Bills, and then they got to play the Vikings again. So you can do it. You have to win this weekend. But no, I wouldn't give up on the North yet. Goofy things happen at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that's where I stand as well, Chew. I sit here and say, you got an opportunity. This would be a huge chance to make up some ground in the division. To your point, last night on Sunday Night Football during the halftime show, they were comparing the schedules between the Lions and the Eagles, and the Lions have a much tougher schedule than the Eagles have. Now, we're not worried about the Eagles right now, but to your point, get the win this weekend and put yourself in a much better spot. Like you said, fluky things could happen. Lions could lose a couple games down the stretch if the Packers keep winning like they have been. Would you be shocked, Joshy, if all of a sudden at the end of the regular season the Packers find themselves in the top spot in the NFC North?
I would be a little bit. I think we're sort of at the point where the Packers need help. And the way the Lions have been playing and finding ways to win in even games where Jared Goff throws 5 interceptions, I just have a hard time seeing the Packers basically running the table and the Lions making enough mistakes throughout the remaining games to give the Packers a chance. It's certainly a possibility, but we're under 10% chances of that happening.
But you did mention Goff, and you did mention the interceptions. And while he still has less interceptions than Jordan Love has at this point, right? Jordan Love still has 11. Jared Goff has 9. Carry the 1. Yeah, that's less. He is prone to making mistakes.
Yes.
And with the way that the Packers defense has been playing, let's just talk specifically, Chew, about Quay Walker and the improvements he has made over the last few weeks. It feels like they are starting to be a more formidable defense up front. They are getting more pressure, it feels like, on opposing quarterbacks. Is that part of the recipe, you think, to the Packers winning this weekend? Would be get some pressure on Jared Goff, make him toss up a few interceptions like he did in that game, and then ball in the air, make a play on it, start to flip the field.
Yeah, because I think that's the difference right now between Green Bay and Philly and Detroit is their defense isn't quite as good. They need another signature win because I was just looking at the schedule. These are their wins. Okay, Dolphins losing record, 49ers losing record, Bears losing records, Jaguars losing, Titans winning, Cardinals 500, Rams losing, Titans losing, Colts losing.
Well, the Texans were their signature win, right? Wasn't that the one from the schedule from earlier this year where you said if they win this one, that's a signature win?
Yeah. So they need another signature win to parallel, I believe, that game last year against the Chiefs that kind of it gave them the confidence like, okay, we just played the Super Bowl champs. We beat them pretty good. We can beat anybody. They kind of need this now. My fear is, on the road, a tough place to play. Is this defensive line now going to disappear again? Because if they disappear and they disappear these next couple games, I don't like their chances. Because I watched that, like I said, I watched that game with Baltimore, and they create pressure with 4. They create pressure with 4, which is a luxury because then you can drop 7 back into coverage or you play man across the board and you still have safety help. If you have to blitz, especially against a team with shifty, quick receivers like they both have, then you're going to be in trouble. So it's kind of go time, wouldn't you say? Maybe not full in go time, but we're getting close. And I tell you this, Seattle's no walk in the park either. Seattle they're a lot easier when they play on the road, but when they play at home, there's just that comfort factor and that 12th man can affect you. And even in this last game against Miami, there still were some procedure penalties at home. I mean, that's got to be cleaned up as well because if you're going into Philly or you're going into Detroit in the playoffs, you don't have to play a perfect game, but you got to play damn near close to a perfect game.
So I like what you said about it's go time because Joshy wants to know if this is an empty the bucket kind of game. And Joshy, when you say empty the bucket, why don't you give us a little explanation of what you mean by that? I think we're on the same page, but I just want to be clear.
Yeah, you basically sell out for the win, be it in the game design from Matt LaFleur. You're not keeping anything really under wraps. You are being as aggressive as you can. You are trying to go to your guys and, running some of your plays that you might have been saving throughout the season. This is, you sell out, you do everything you can to win a game because it is that important for the Packers season.
So, all right, well, let me ask you this, because you kind of talk out both sides of your mouth. What's his message this week? No one's expecting us to win. Cut it loose. Let's go in there. But that's not really the mindset of a team that believes it's elite. So what would your message be this week?
I think it's you guys can beat this team.
Okay.
We get back what we did earlier this season. We didn't play our best, and we know we're better than that, and we can beat this team. I think that's your message.
They have to. One thing that sounds crazy is when you're on the road like this, you have to be very efficient with the play clock, because the noise prevents you a lot of time from audibling out of plays and checking out of plays. And LaFleur is very good early in the game about scheming guys open, scheming runs and things like that. But if he guesses wrong and you got to check out of plays, because there were some places we'd go into, like Dallas back in the day, for instance, or Minnesota when they were really good back in the day, we'd say, hell with it, just run it. We just run it, just live with it, live to play another day.
So my message to this week would be, with 58 seconds left in the second quarter, it was a one-possession game against the Lions. It was 10-3. Jordan Love throws an interception. All of a sudden, it's 17-3. Feels like the game was over then. So my message is, we were in that game. Save a dumb turnover. And I would say, protect the football. Don't give them the ball. Don't give them opportunities to bury us. And we can win. Like I would lean into that loss was on mistakes we made, not anything the Lions did. That's the play that I would go after. And I would keep reminding them that it was 10-3 with 58 seconds left in the first half. And you could have gone into the locker room down a score. Instead, 17-3, 24-3, 24-6, 24-14. That's all she wrote. So just don't bleep it up, right? Don't give them the ball. Don't make stupid turnovers. Don't make mistakes. Play clean football. Let Josh Jacobs run all over the place like he did this past weekend against the Dolphins. I think that the game plan is pretty simple. You rely on Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love. Don't turn the ball over. Protect the football.
Well, my guess is they're going to pay a lot of attention to Josh Jacobs, because this offense as of late, which is fine, has been going on how he goes, right? So my guess is they're going to make a concerted effort to, I wouldn't say load the box, but be very leery of Josh Jacobs, because I would go in and say, all right, we got to stop him. Let's limit him to 80 yards or something around there. And then I don't think they're going to – I don't know what the hell they're going to do. I really don't.
But I also
don't know if I want to blitz. I don't know if I want to blitz in Goff – not Goff, but Love hasn't been great against the blitz. But when you do that on the road, the worst thing that could happen to Detroit, and we've seen it time again, hell, it happened last year in the second game they played them, big plays.
Explosive plays.
And that's what Green Bay needs. Because if they get big plays, keep that crowd out of it, control the clock, I like their chances.
One of the big conversations we've been having about the Green Bay Packers has been the creativity of Matt LaFleur's offense. I don't want him to overthink it. I don't want him to look at the Lions being one of the top 5 teams against the run and go, we can't run the ball. Can't run the ball. Got to throw the ball. Got to put the ball in Jordan Love's hands. Got to make plays downfield. Got to have those explosive plays. I feel like that's a little bit of what, and we mentioned this in the first segment of the show, Ohio State did this weekend. Ohio State has some of the best wide receivers in the league, guys who are going to be playing on Sundays next year, the year after, the year after. And it was almost as though Chip Kelly and Ryan Day overthought it. And we're like, we got to keep running the ball. We got to show how physical we are. We got to show the physicality of our team, because that has been questioned in the past. No, it's okay to be a finesse team if that's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
If you have those guys. So I don't want the Packers to overthink it either. I don't want them to think the Lions are really good at stopping the run. We can't run the ball with Josh Jacobs. Let's have, a 60-40 pass run scheme this week and then sort of play themselves. Does that make sense?
Who's got more pressure on them?
Packers. Chasing. Hunting, I think. What do you think?
So? I don't know. I think, Detroit didn't play yesterday either, and I would think a lot of them watched that Eagles game, and they're probably sitting there going, are we the best team in the NFC? And that's when teams get into pressing, right? I mean, I would think even though the line is moved, 2 points, moving 2 points with two comparable teams is kind of a big move, especially on the road. I would say Detroit has more pressure. I think Green Bay can still use that underdog card, and it's us against the world if you do it in a correct way. This game the whole thing comes down to defense, because the Packers' offense is good enough, Detroit's offense is good enough. Detroit's defense is a little bit better, especially without Jair, is better than the Packers. It's just it's all going to come down to, can they create at least some pressure with a 4-man rush?
800-990-3776. Your chance to weigh in this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We'll put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll. Who has more pressure on them in this game? Packers versus Lions this weekend. Chewy says the pressure is on the Lions. They're atop the division. They're trying to hold on to that spot. Maybe they watched Philadelphia this weekend and thought, ooh, boy, they got a tough team. Maybe we're not the best team in the NFC. Meanwhile, I think the pressure is on the Packers, because the only chance you have to win the division, if you care about that, which I think they do, is to beat the Lions this weekend. You're still chasing. You're still hunting. Right now, the New York Times playoff predictor has the Lions with an 87% chance to win the division, 99% chance to make the playoffs. 800-990-3776. Who has more pressure on them this week in the Thursday night football game in Detroit between the Packers and Lions? We roll on right after this.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We are moving along pretty well right now. We've got eastbound 94, just a little bit of a tap of the brakes between 76th Street and 68th. Overall, the rest of the system is looking really smooth right now. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. This season, try their newest holiday pastry, Eggnog Kringle. Go to kringle.com to order or call 1-800-4DANISH. Then check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Mostly cloudy, turning partly cloudy. Flurries later on with a high of 32. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 21. Weather is brought to you by the Neil Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit neilgroup.net to learn more. That's neilgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Monica, what delightful surprise do you have for us this Christmas?
I've been waiting all day for your big reveal.
Take a look and tell me what you see.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I see the North Star, that guiding light that always lets you know where you are.
The North Star is important to you?
Sitting directly above the axis of the Earth, it's the only star in the sky that never moves. It's always there for you.
Sarah?
I see the star that stood high over Bethlehem 2,000 years ago.
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might.
Monica, it's fabulous.
Nicole Lasker designed it.
I love her.
What's it called?
The Star of Hope. We have them in sterling silver with 4 diamonds for just $198. And in white gold with bigger and bigger diamonds at prices up to $19.98.
I love it.
I love it even more than Rick does.
The Star of Hope.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from the Kayla's Mobile Spa, Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything, but while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Hey folks, when it comes to Christmas trees, don't get played by foreign plastic. Just like you wouldn't replace a prize QB with a mannequin. Don't replace American Farm Fresh trees with fake foreign plastic. These farm families are the MVPs of Christmas, growing champions right here on American soil. They're not sitting on the bench. They're out there every day growing real Christmas traditions. Make the winning choice, Farm Fresh Christmas trees, not foreign plastic that pollutes. Visit GetRealKeepItReal.com to find your local farm MVP.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves. Got some advice from our helpful elves. Oh, so many gifts to explore when you go to Total Wine and more. Bottles so delightful, whoa. Priced so amazingly low.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Where else can you get football analysis that includes things like dropsies and pixies and interceptsies and flowy? It's flowy. The offense needs to be more flowy.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Who has more pressure on them this weekend when the Packers and Lions face off in Detroit? Chewy says it's the Lions. I think it's the Packers. Let us know what you think. Alan weighing in saying Packers have more pressure. They need to play all 4 quarters and get out of Detroit with a win. And yes, part of the issue that they had last game, Chew, was that they did not play a good 4 quarters. We can continue pointing to the interception that Jordan Love threw at the end of the first half, which was bananas, bonkers, just absolutely derailed any potential chance at a decent second half. Because it was a one-possession game, and then all of a sudden you're going into the locker room, and it's like, whoa, this feels insurmountable now. But to your point, Chewy, the Lions' defense has been playing really, really well. And that was a big reason why the Packers struggled, I think. They add Zadarius Smith. Do you think he makes them even better? Are they more formidable having him there in the front?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be ready to play on Thursday. I could tell you that, and that's gonna have to be addressed. I mean, he knows both these. Does he know both these tackles? Does he know Walker?
No, he would not.
He doesn't? Okay, well, he knows Zach Tom. You know, he's going to be bringing extra juice, and you always bring extra juice at home, so he's going to have to be accounted for. No, this is one of those games where you don't have to play a perfect game, but you got to play almost a near perfect game. You know, Detroit, even when they were not bad, but an average team, that was still a tough place to go in and play because their fans are passionate. It's loud. It's a dome. There's issues, like I said, with changing plays and things like that. You just cannot make mistakes because mistakes are magnified on the road, and it just gives juice to the fans, you know?
Sounds like Jair will be back in action or could be back in action, right, guys? He was good to go. Was that yesterday, at yesterday's practice, Joshy?
He did practice yesterday, but with Jair, until we get the confirmed and in, I don't think we can take anything for granted.
That's fair.
Because he's like done hard workouts the days of games and then not even actually played.
And Romeo Doubs, though he's still in concussion protocol, he did practice yesterday. Is that right?
Correct.
That was a little bit odd for me. So you can practice.
The last step is practicing before getting fully cleared from concussion protocol.
So he'll play. Doubs will play.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's out there running around and stuff like that and there's no residuals, then he will play, which will be big because then, you know, offensively they'll be at full strength. But Jair, I hate to say it, almost has to play.
Certainly like him to.
Yeah. So, no, this will be good juice. What do we do if they lose though? And then do we start playoff watching?
Doesn't it depend on how they lose? If they lose close,
if they lose, we start playoff watching because right now, I think you want to definitely play the West, right? Arizona, San Fran's done. Is that it? It's Seattle and Arizona, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So
I'll pull up that playoff predictor that Joshy sent over to us as well. The 49ers have a 4% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and Christian McCaffrey's now done for the year.
Seahawks, was that a PCL
he is
injury?
done for the year?
Yeah.
Seahawks have the 41% chance, this according again to the New York Times playoff predictor. Cardinals have a 36% chance to make the playoffs. Joshy, would you be surprised if 2 teams from the West make it?
Yeah.
With how tough the NFC North has been? This playoff predictor has 3 teams from the North making the NFC playoff
the numbers you read there from the West is basically them trying to hedge their bets on which of those teams makes it out of the NFC West. I think the Packers and Vikings have sort of separated themselves from the rest of the pack, where I don't see, unless there's some devastating injuries and a long losing streak, it's going to be the 2 teams from the North.
So they wouldn't go to Washington because the Phillies win in that division, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so Washington would be another wild card. But what do you think of the South, Chew?
That's a train wreck too. I kind of forgot about the South.
Say.
You don't want what, the 7th seed, because then you're going probably to Philly or Detroit, right?
Yes.
Which is not good.
That you want to put yourself basically as, you want to be the top wild card if you don't win the division. That's probably your best bet to get.
But even the 2nd is fine, though.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because you're not afraid of going to Tampa Bay or Atlanta if they figure things out.
But it is why we were rooting for the Cardinals yesterday instead of the Vikings, gang. Yes. It's why we were hoping the Cardinals could pull out that victory, and the Vikings ended up winning 23-22 over the Cardinals. I
honestly think if the Packers as long as they are not playing the 2 seed, they're going to be favored on the road in those games. That's how I think they have separated themselves.
Did you guys watch football yesterday? Or did you take a day off?
No,
sure
watch,
did.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What else would I do?
With Minnesota. What was that game like? Because I didn't watch any of that game.
Cardinals gave it away.
It was a tough watch, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Kyler Murray did not play well. Coaching was not great. They took a field goal to go up only 6 when it was like pretty obvious if you score a touchdown here, you can end the game. There was no reason for them to not try and win the game when they had the opportunity.
And it was a last-minute touchdown.
Yes.
By the Vikings too, Chew. Like just over a minute left.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are asking you this morning, who has more pressure on them this week as the Lions host the Packers, the Lions or the Packers? Let's go out to the phone line. That's where we find Bill in Campbellsport. Bill, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Who has more pressure on them this week?
Oh, definitely the Lions. Couple of reasons. First of all, the Lions, we seen the real Lions play the Bears the other day. They're going to come back to earth. They could not play at the level they were playing at all season, so they peaked way too early, and they know it. And the whole league knows that the Packers have yet to play their best football. That's down the road. So that being said, the Packers would perfectly be happy going to Atlanta or playing a dome out west and then take their chances after that. So the Lions have got way more pressure because they sure don't want to have to go on the road and play anybody. So that's how I feel.
800-990-3776. Nick weighing in on the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line. The pressure is on the Lions to keep the division theirs. Packers have been the 3 seed all year. I think it depends wholly, guys, on if you think that the division is important. If you think that the Packers need to win the division, Chew, and you mentioned this, to ease their path, to get a better seed, to, sort of get the bye, obviously. If you think all of those things matter for a young football team, then the pressure is on the Packers to win this game, to put themselves in a better position to do so. If you think the division has already come and gone, and that it's a foregone conclusion that the Lions are the division winner, then yeah, it's probably the other side. 800-990-3776. Go ahead, Chew.
It'll be interesting, though, if they do lose this game, even if they lose it close, because then you're going to start posturing for seeding. I mean, is there a difference in going to Arizona as opposed to going to Tampa Bay? Probably not. Right?
So Baker is such a wild card for me. Why do I feel like any game Baker and company play, he could win? Is that just the way he carries himself? Is that he needed that change of scenery? Is that he's been a much better quarterback in Tampa Bay? I don't know. But there's something about Baker that makes me uncomfortable. He's like upstart, is that it? Like he's like a disruptor.
He's like Brett Favre light.
Okay.
You know, he's got the ability to turn it on, but he's also got the ability to play like crap too. And so is Kyler. You know, here's the danger though. This is the danger. The danger is they lose a close one here, right? Huge game, probably biggest game of the entire year, right? And then you go to Seattle with a letdown, and you lose that one too. That's what they have to. I hate sounding defeatist though, because right now I usually by Monday, Tuesday, I know who I'm picking in this game. I have no idea right now. I don't know which way I'm going to go. And that's all based upon last year when they played Kansas City, when they said this team doesn't have a chance, and all of a sudden that sparked them, and that was their here we go moment, I believe.
John weighing in on the YouTube page. Remember, you can always stream the show on our ESPN Milwaukee YouTube page. He says the pressure is all on the Packers. They are still the team chasing. Let's go out to the phone lines. Jim in Saukville, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Who is the pressure on this week as the Packers go to Detroit to face the Lions?
I 100% agree. I mean, the Packers have to be the ascending team. They have to show that they are the improving team. They still got that pinnacle to reach. All the Lions have to do is maintain. So it's not, it can come down to who's winning, but it's more who's showing that they're improving, who's ascending, who's improving their ball club, and that's all on the Packers.
Appreciate the call, Jim. Always great to hear from Jim in Saukville. Let's go back to the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line for a moment. Kevin says pressure is definitely on Detroit. Have you seen their remaining schedule? You could make a case that they could lose each of their remaining games. Chew, you got Detroit's schedule in front of you? I know you had it before. Go rattle off those games. I don't think they're losing to the Bears, goodness sakes. They just fired their coach. That team is in upheaval right now. But who else do they have on there?
So Detroit has Green Bay this week. Then they're at home against Buffalo, at the Bears, at the Niners, who are done, and then home against the Vikings,
who I think are smoking mirrors.
They actually have 3 potential losses in there, but so does Green Bay. Green Bay has 3 too. I mean, I don't feel great about Seattle. I know we shouldn't be looking forward. Just play the game that's in front of you. But there's danger both ways if they lose and if they win. Would you agree? Because if they beat Detroit, they're going to be on a high. Seattle's kind of a mid-level team. But going on the road to that stadium makes it a tougher game.
And I know that the schedule changes every year, so you're not facing the same teams that you faced, although they do try in the NFL to backload the division games, and you're seeing that with the Lions schedule, and you're seeing that with the Packers schedule. But I think last year, this version of the offense, plus Josh Jacobs now this year, having gone on that heater and winning boom, 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 and Jordan Love throwing 1 interception in the second half of the season. I feel like that's one of those been there, done that type of things. Like, there's proof that you can do it. And I can't help but wonder how much that is motivating this version of this team to say, hey, we did it last year. Like, let's just keep our heads about us. We'll do it again. I'm looking at that schedule, like you said, Shu, that Bills game, that Bills-Lions game, whew, that could be a good one. That's going to be a real good game.
And they have the same dilemma as Green Bay does. Because if they lose to Green Bay at home, I mean, the letdown is real. They could lose 2 in a row here, and then all of a sudden, all right, hey, we're back in this thing.
Absolutely. And I think that's the way I want to look at it. So we need the Buffalo Bills to also beat the Lions after the Packers beat the Lions. Let's go out to the phone lines. Ken in Milwaukee, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Who has more pressure this Thursday?
I definitely think Green Bay has more pressure just because Detroit last week lost a lot of players. They're really down on defense. If Green Bay can't go in there and beat them the way Detroit came into Lambeau and beat them for the 3rd straight year,
I think Detroit, I think Green Bay starts to feel the pressure. And, if they meet in the playoffs, it's probably not going to be a good thing, losing 3 in a row.
Appreciate the call. Thank you, Ken. Let's go out to the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube page. Jason says pressure is all on the Packers. LaFleur is 2-5 versus Campbell career. Green Bay hasn't beaten anyone this year. Need to prove they can play with the big boys. Who has more pressure on them this week when the Packers go to Detroit to take on the Lions? Lions in the top spot of the division. We roll on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
The best mornings
in the morning light
start with Wrangler.
Pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
A monster first half offensively leads the Pack to a win over the Dolphins at Lambeau on Thanksgiving night, and now it's a huge division clash this Thursday against the Lions in Detroit. Here's quarterback Jordan Love after the Miami win.
Since we got back from the bye week, that's been the focus, is playing complementary ball, and I think the last couple games we've been doing that. And obviously it takes everybody.
The 11-1 Detroit Lions hosting the now 9-3 Green Bay Packers. A 7:15 kick on Thursday.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Homer here to tell you about Rawhide Youth Services. Co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Cherry Starr, Rawhide is a faith-based nonprofit that helps thousands of youth every year, many right here in Milwaukee, overcome trauma, suicidal thoughts, and live better lives. For youth who are hurting, who feel lost or abandoned, and families feeling powerless to help them, Rawhide is there to help. They also need vehicle donations to support their mission of helping hurting youth transform their future. Donate to Rawhide Youth Services. Visit rawhide.org/donate.
Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I mean, pumpkin seeds.
No, little suckers. They might be. What did you say before, Jen?
Sesame but those
seeds.
Are white.
No,
white.
these aren't white. No, this isn't on the outside. This is on the inside.
Seeds on the inside.
Oh,
yeah.
So you got some sort of
scrotum.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Football season is back, and I am excited to be back on campus with Celsius Energy Drink. It fuels my active lifestyle with its game day energy. And yes, yesterday was game day, but for me it was more of a day going to the Christmas market with my family, knowing I had had a long week with my travel to College Station. And so what did I do? Popped into a gas station and grabbed myself a Celsius. Peach Vibe, of course. Stay active and energized all game day long with Celsius by your side, like me and Travis Hunter and Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel, who will be featured this weekend on our little show on Saturday morning. Celsius, live fit. Chew, I'm coming home the other day, Saturday, from College Station, and I'm feeling pretty good, man. Caught myself a 12:15 flight, landed at General Mitchell Airport at 3 o'clock, and all of a sudden, poof. Ladies and gentlemen from the cockpit. Ladies and gentlemen from the cockpit, we hit the nose of the plane on our landing, and so the plane is no longer operational. We're going to need a tow into the gate area. We sat on the runway for 40 minutes waiting for somebody to tow us to the gate at Mitchell because they hit the nose of the plane on the landing.
Did you notice that?
No. So that's the thing. It wasn't one of these like very dramatic, very like poof landings type of thing. But needless to say, we sat there for 40 minutes. I was feeling so good. I was like, oh, best laid plans, going to get home at a decent hour on Saturday. Has that ever happened to you? Has the nose of the plane ever hit the ground?
How didn't you notice that?
I don't know. Maybe it just like grazed it. Maybe it was a grazing.
Huh. Holy cats. No, I've had some interesting flights. I've done 2 touch and goes in Chicago in the middle of a thunderstorm. There's nothing worse than that. Okay, we're bumping, we're on the ground, and now we're going back up.
Ooh, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not fun. But no, never, prop tip or wing tip or nose tip. Ooh.
So I called the customer service line as I was driving home and was like, hey, maybe throw in a few miles here. I don't know, it doesn't feel like you guys did a great job on this one. And the lady was like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Those requests have to be put in on the website. Those requests have to be submitted on the website. And I was like, huh. So you just don't want people complaining then, huh? That's how that is?
So what, was the weather bad?
No, beautiful day.
Windy?
No, I mean, maybe a little. It's December-ish, November-ish in Milwaukee, but I don't like the you can't complain on the phone thing, Joshy. You know me. I like to complain.
I prefer, which is very rare, am going to issue a complaint, I do it on the internet. That way I can't get caught off guard with some sort of response. If I am on text version, like a chat that you can pop up on many websites, that is the best thing ever because you could just pressure that person relentlessly and it's also, you could do other things at the same time. That's kind of why I like anytime I need to return something and they're giving me a hassle about it, right through the chat. Right through the chat it goes.
You think the pilot has to pay for the damage? Payroll deducts $17,000.
I would envision
not. Of the plane. No?
There's got to be some way he's held responsible. Does he get demoted? Is it like you get relegated? If you hit the nose of the plane on a landing,
I don't think
you shouldn't get to fly again that day for sure.
I don't think we have an A.
They must be getting graded though, right? There's got to be a grading system.
What's the grading system? Did you live or not?
Well, hey, there's nothing better than a greased landing. That's what they call it, greasing it. Did you know that?
No, what does that even mean?
It means they nailed it. It's like you're landing on a bed of feathers.
Oh, sure. I've had a few of those. Just like...
Yeah. I've had more of the other. Bam! But at least we're on the ground.
Yeah, so to Joshy's point, it's sort of a pass-fail.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't really think they have like a JV team of pilots. They're just letting you take off.
You don't think so?
I'm going to call the company and be like, hey, I'd like some miles for the inconvenience. And they're going to basically give me the hangover line. But did you die? Jen Gabe Chewy rolls on right after this.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
A bit of a slow ride right now, eastbound 94 from about 92nd Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Westbound side is slowing down from 20th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. You got northbound on 4394 slowing down coming out of the Mitchell interchange all the way around the Plainfield curve up past Oklahoma Avenue. And northbound on the bypass slowing down out of the Hale interchange all the way to National Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly cloudy, turning partly cloudy, flurries with a high of 32. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 21. Weather's brought to you by the Corners of Brookfield. Help the big guy out this holiday season. Drop off your little one's letters in a special North Pole mailbox in the Market Square through December 22nd. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Winter is here. Don't let your car care take a backseat. Protect your car against rust, salt, and grime this season at Tsunami Express Car Wash. Tsunami Express makes cleanup a breeze with their state-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and convenient unlimited wash memberships. Try their new best-in-class T2 with graphene wash for the ultimate long-lasting shine and protection. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Try your first wash free when you sign up online at TsunamiExpress.com.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here. 'Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them this holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. From a spectacular brunch with Santa to the holiday marketplace and one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences, St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week through the holiday season. Make a night of it and extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at St. Kate. Special packages are now available. Celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just our offense.
Fake to Jacobs. Love. Touchdown Reed. Jaden Reed connects and leaps. 19. Second and goal. Jacobs. Touchdown Green Bay.
The scheme we have, the plays we're dialing up that Steno and Matter are dialing up are, top tier.
19. Third and 2 for Green Bay. Fake to Jacobs. It's Reed. First down. Reed. Touchdown for the second time on this Thanksgiving night. Seconds are served.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Yeah, I just think that our guys have the right mentality in terms of knowing that we have to come in, put in the work.
Kick is 46. He couldn't see it. Muffed it. Bo Melton there. One of the two. The Packers Gunners down there and come up with it. 3rd and 8. Odell Beckham Jr. sighting. He's in the game. Tua goes down. And those edge rushers for Green Bay shut down this drive.
For all the marbles here, boys.
Yep. 4th and goal from the 1. Tua faking. Ingold fell. Tua sacked.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Continue to push each other to get better and better and better, and that's really all we're all about.
Obviously, the joke is not getting a turkey leg last year, so be able to come in here, get the win, get the turkey leg after. It was very delicious.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chmura. Here's Jen Latta.
Joseph caused the Packers some problems the last time the Lions and Packers faced each other. Of course, you could argue that Jordan Love caused himself some problems throwing that nonsense interception at the end of the first half, but Kirby Joseph was the guy who plucked it and ran it back for the 27-yard return and the score. So Tucker Kraft has been talking about Kirby Joseph. Now, we don't have video of it, so that means we don't have audio of it. But, Joshua, you got the quote there from Tucker Kraft this week in advance of the Lions-Packers game?
Yeah, I believe this was in a conversation yesterday because he did meet with the media, but this portion was not on the YouTube channel or Packers.com. And he says in response
How
to
interesting.
Yes, he says in response to a question about Kirby Joseph, he's a respectable player in the NFC, but in my mind, I'm not really worried about DBs too often. I'm worried more about guys in the box. I'm sure they bring guys down, safety rotation, and we target them in the run, but it's just a different game. I don't have too many tidbits on Kirby. I know he's a dangerous player. He can flip games. He's a good DB. I might not agree with some of the places he likes to lay contact. He's taken some of my brothers out of the game, and I think about that too. So if I get a chance to get my hands on him, playing football, and he left it at that.
Chew. Now again, step lightly, tread lightly here, my friend, as we already have the San Francisco fans who hate our guts. What exactly is Tucker Kraft getting at there?
Payback. And I don't agree. I think it's stupid. Just, and I love the kid. I love the way he plays. But you don't need bulletin board material going in on the road, against a very good football team. It's just stupid. Why would you? I love you. I know you're tough. But shut up. Okay? We had the same situation with Jeff Brady, who was with us. We cut him in the middle of the season, and he signed with Minnesota, and through injuries, he became their starting middle linebacker. So he ran his mouth about Holmgren and how Green Bay sucks and this and that, and Holmgren just came over to me and Frank and said, I want him worn out by the end of the game, which we took as a bounty that was kind of Bush League that we're not getting paid for, because normally you get paid for bounties, and me and Frank wore him out. Played to the whistle, didn't hit him late, but played to the whistle. And he never said another word again. So it's unnecessary. There's some things, what do they say, Joshy? Don't say them out loud.
Some things are better left unsaid.
Don't say the quiet part out loud, that whole thing?
Yeah, there you go. It's just unnecessary. Because now Detroit's going to say, let's get him. Second-year player running his mouth. It's unnecessary.
Okay, but there is a history here with Joseph, and I'm not talking about the interception from 4 weeks ago. I'm talking about last year, the Rams had a thing. Matthew Stafford went up to Kirby and said, "You are dirty as bleep."
Yeah.
Went up to him. This guy has a bit of a reputation. Stafford said, "You dirty as bleep. It's been on tape. I've seen it." You know it, he said.
But you don't need to say it out loud. And I'll tell you this, Holmgren, we had a problem because we used to like screens. We used to love to run screens. So Holmgren wanted all the receivers to cut downfield. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. That puts players at risk, even though it was legal back then. I'm like, no. And I said, unless it's the Minnesota Vikings, I will cut them every time. And I did. Because I thought they were dirty, they were cheap, and the only time we cut their DBs is when we played Minnesota.
Is there some value?
You handle
though,
it
Chew,
like that.
Is there some value though, Chew, as when you're going into a game to make sure that this narrative is out there, right? That if you Google Kirby Joseph, it pops from January of this past year, right? This past January when they played the Rams. So there was a narrative that he's a dirty player. I don't know that I've heard that much this season. Now, I'm not paying attention a ton to the storylines in and out of Lions practice week in and week out. But is there some value in getting that back out there, maybe even from an officiating standpoint, Chew? Is it helpful to remind these officials, like, hey, this guy, there's a bit of a habit here. There's a bit of a trend here. He might be a dirty player, so that they can be watching it more closely in the game, and that gives the Packers an advantage. He can't do all the things he might want to do.
I just don't think you need to air your dirty laundry in the papers, I mean, crap talk before the game. Say just, hey, you better watch it. You better watch, And I've done that stuff with guys that run their mouth before. But my experiences in playing in the NFL is guys that talk trash suck, and that's why they do it.
I will say this, though. Again, reading the quote that Joshy said, he is very complimentary of Kirby Joseph. He says, I know he's a dangerous player. He can flip games. He's a good DB. I might not agree with some of the places he likes to lay contact. He's taken some of my brothers out of the game. I think about that too. So if I get a chance to get my hands on him, playing football. It kind of feels like there's a toughness thing there. Like, it's like,
no,
I'm not going to be intimidated by you.
Sure, and fans love it. You just don't need, especially the last part, because you're essentially saying, if you read between the lines there, hey, I'm coming to get you. Why let them know you're coming to get you? Yeah,
maybe mess with his head a little bit. Get him thinking about it.
I don't want to fight my battles in the paper. I'll do it on the field. I don't like it because Detroit is going to use it. They're going to use it. I'm telling you.
There's a certain aspect of this.
Go ahead, Josh.
Where there's a certain aspect of this where Tucker Kraft has done this before, and he's not been told to stop. That it seems like it gets him and his teammates going, and this is a thing they've been talking about. It almost seems like this is a thing the Packers want him to be doing because Tucker Kraft will go out there and say something, and sometimes he sounds sort of like a maniac. A guy who's like looking for contact, wants to be physical, and wants to punish you in like the run game and blocking, and even the way he carries the ball. It seems like this is something the team or his teammates are looking for out of him. Some sort of motivation.
Well, it's a little. Maybe it's a little different today because you can't hit a defenseless player. Whereas if you said something like this back in my day, you better put your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
You better put your head on a swivel because you can earhole guys back when I played. I don't think you can do that anymore. So, yeah, it is a little bit easier. It's the last part I didn't like because you're essentially saying, hey, I'm coming for you.
And you're saying you'd rather sneak attack.
Yeah, especially when you're playing on the road, I mean, you don't think the Detroit fans have seen this? I mean, they're the most excited they've ever. They're the most excited they've ever been in probably all their years in the NFL. That's why it's going to be wild.
800-990-3776. Okay, so Tucker Kraft did not himself call out Kirby Joseph, but he was asked about him, and this was his response. We have read it to you several times this morning. There is no audio of it. But Chewy is basically saying he doesn't love it. He doesn't love it. He gets it, but he doesn't love it. Where do you stand? 800-990-3776. I don't mind it. I think he did a really good job, Joshy, of couching it with the compliments of like, yeah, we know he's tough. We know he can flip the field. We know he's a good player, dangerous, all of those sort of things. But then he was also saying like, but he also can be dirty. And I don't like where he hits guys. And I'm aware of it. Like, I'm on to you type of thing. I kind of like the moxie that it's showing of like, hey, and if we get into it, it's football. Hashtag football. Where do you stand, Joshy?
There's one reason I don't like it. It's not so much Chewy's end. I really want Tucker Kraft to be on the field a lot. And I think making yourself a target to somebody who is known to take players out of the game and cause injuries, that is not a game I want to play in. I do think it's smart to be aware of and for him to have his head on the swivel. And maybe this is what he needs to play his best type of game. But I don't want Kirby Joseph, known for season-ending injuries, quite frankly, to other players, to be hunting down Tucker Kraft because Tucker Kraft sort of ran his mouth to the media. He was asked, and he answered honestly, and that's what we want from our athletes. But it does sort of make a bigger target for himself as well, which maybe that's good for Tucker. But it does concern me.
Because tackling below the waist?
Yes.
It's not illegal.
No.
It's not illegal. And that is, there is a code, okay? There's a code, and Kirby might not be playing by the code. Just like when we said we didn't want to cut DBs down the field, that's kind of a code issue. Now, Dallas was dirty, and I think I don't know if it was the playoff game where Reggie went wild because Eric Williams, their right tackle, went a gap and a half removed to cut Yurko. And I think he blew out Yurko's ear. That's code, right? It's not illegal, but that's code. And what Kirby Joseph is doing is a code thing, which exists in the game. So my guess is, after Tucker Kraft said this, the code's off.
I'll go one step further.
The code is off.
I'll go one step further here because last year when there was questions about the hit in the Rams game, Dan Campbell said, that's how we play football here. Keep your head up, see what you hit. That's what I always tell Kirby. Keep your eyes up so you don't hit on the crown of your helmet. You hit a spine, you mess yourself up there. Just see what you hit. If you are Dan Campbell and you have been trying to flip the culture, and doing a hell of a job, by the way, in Detroit, you're not telling your guys to shy away from stuff like this. You're telling them to go eat, right? Like Dan Campbell loves this type of stuff. This is Mr. Bite the Kneecaps guy.
Sure. But then expect it in return. That's all I'm saying, right? Minnesota never changed their game, and that's why they were the only team where we went downfield and cut them. That's fine. If you don't want to play by codes, we won't play by codes, you know? But all I'm saying is there's a code among players that, hey, don't put other players at risk. And I guarantee, you know, and I think it goes back to Gronk. I think Gronk might have said it when he got hit low, and I think he blew his ACL out. As a tight end going down the middle of the field, I think you would rather be hit up high and in the head than you would having to worry about your knees.
800-990-3776. Let's go out to the phone lines. That's where we find Mo in Illinois. Mo, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. What do you think about this Tyler Kraft situation?
Tucker
Kraft.
Yeah, no, I got you. What I got to say about that is literally injected into my damn veins. Like, I love it. For so long, for the past few years, not so long, but the past few years, the Lions have had this element of physicality against us, and I feel like we haven't matched it. I know we got them last year on Thanksgiving, but if there's one guy that I believe that will back up his talk, it's Tucker Kraft, because he has consistently played with physicality this season, and he backs it up. So I'm excited to see what he's got. And if we remember when the Packers last played the Lions at Lambeau a few weeks ago or a month ago, James Houston, who's no longer on the team, he had a tackle in which he literally twisted your quarterback, Jordan Love's leg or ankle, whatever it was. It was a very dirty play. So the Lions are a dirty team, and I would hope that the Packers put that on film and they get some revenge. They get some payback. You need to smack them in the mouth. I have a burning hatred for this Lions team because they are so damn dirty, and nobody, like, we need to set the tone. That's all I'm saying, and I love what Tucker Kraft did, and I would hope that this Packers team comes ready to play because this is a huge game.
Appreciate the call, Mo.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of goes all the way back to Ndamukong Suh stomping on, I forget which lineman it was, but, you know, that's the way they play. Look, if you don't want to play with codes, that's fine. You know what? And the fans love it, I know, you know, because it is. It kind of stirs the pot a little bit, but you only love it up until your player doesn't get hurt from it. You know what I'm saying?
Or until your player playing over aggressive gets a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, at the wrong point, at the wrong time of the game. You know,
which Packers had issues with.
Teddy from Watertown weighing in on the ESPN Milwaukee Talk and Text line. If you need bulletin board material for a game like this, your team has problems. Kraft was just pointing out that Joseph has knocked out tight ends with low blindside shots, not illegal, but dirty. And so I think Teddy is referencing that if the Lions need to use this as bulletin board material, maybe, you know, they've got issues.
Well, you know that the press is the first thing they're going to do. What's today? Yeah, they're probably practicing. The first thing they're going to do is go to Joseph and say, did you hear what Tucker Kraft said? And it'll be interesting to see how he comments on that.
And again, I hope that he sees all of the compliments that Tucker Kraft gave him from a talent standpoint. But as we have discussed, that's not human nature. Human nature is to find the one perceived slight and marinate on that. So you get yourself all worked up. I know, I'm online. The holidays are coming up fast, and if you're looking for the perfect gift to show appreciation to the special women in your life, whether it's your mom, your mother-in-law, or your significant other, or maybe you've been interested in checking out Quintessa All for yourself, I've got the answer. It is a Quintessa Aesthetic Center gift card. They offer everything that the women in your life will love, from luxurious skincare to rejuvenating facials and body treatments. And here, guys, is the very best part. Now, through December 20th, so perfect for the holidays. For every $100 gift card you buy, you will get a $20 bonus card. It is a deal that only comes around this time of year, so you do not want to miss out. Okay, so what we're saying is, if you're struggling to figure out what to buy the lady in your life, or maybe you yourself are thinking, I could use a little refresh, Quintessa Aesthetics Center has gift cards right now. Buy 100, get 20 free. Make her holiday unforgettable or treat yourself to the gift of getting pampered, confident, and completely renewed this holiday season. Visit myquintessa.com today to answer all your questions.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
A bit of a slow ride right now, eastbound 94 from about 92nd Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Westbound side is slowing down from 20th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. We got northbound on 4394 slowing down coming out of the Mitchell interchange all the way around the Plainfield curve up past Oklahoma Avenue. And northbound on the bypass slowing down out of the Hale interchange all the way to National Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, mostly cloudy, turning partly cloudy, flurries with a high of 32. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 21. Weather's brought to you by the Corners of Brookfield. Help the big guy out this holiday season. Drop off your little one's letters in a special North Pole mailbox in the Market Square through December 22nd. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The Jen, Gabe, and Chewy podcast is sponsored by Celsius Energy Drink, and I am here to tell you it makes a huge difference in my mornings. With a unique blend of essential energy and key vitamins, Celsius is your partner to an active lifestyle. My favorite, the Peach Vibe. Learn more at Celsius.com and pick up Celsius Energy Drinks today.
Hey guys, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel here to give you some advice. If you're making plans to propose to that special someone in your life, the Jewelry Center has to be your stop for the ring. It's what I did. They're the best place to shop for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee for a reason. I didn't know what to get, but with help of a Pinterest board, the Jewelry Center and their team of specialists took care of everything from start to finish. Naturally mined diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, whatever you're in the market for, when it comes to an engagement ring, the Jewelry Center has it. Find locations and inventory online at shoptjc.com.
This time of year can be really tough on a number of areas in your home. If you're struggling with any electrical issues, the superheroes at Current Electric are ready to help you. Chuck Smith is a Brookfield Central grad who started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality. Whether it's as small as a switch repair or as large as rewiring your entire home, to a generator to keep your lights on, or even interest in solar energy, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com.
Hey, it's Gary Ellison here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client. Get a little slice of summer on the links with Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center, a top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center's simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. With bays at just $35 an hour, Mondays through Thursdays. That summer feel is easily back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Wins, wins, and more wins are waiting to be uncovered at Potawatomi. Get ready to find yours in a winter stash of $300,000 in prizes this December. Play with your rewards card for entries, drawings on 3 thrilling Thursdays. Some seriously big wins are waiting for you. Winter Stash at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Are you looking for reliable transportation this holiday season? I've got you covered. It's Jen Latta from ESPN Milwaukee, and with holiday parties, family gatherings, and year-end events on the horizon, I trust AccuTrans Group to handle all of my private transportation needs. Whether it's a corporate function or festive celebration, AccuTrans gets me there safely and on time. As a veteran-owned business, they pride themselves on top-notch service that you can count on. Booking is easy, stress-free, and reliable. Just visit AccuTransGroup.com to reserve your holiday ride today. That's AccuTransGroup.com.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Can I be Chuck Woolery?
Yeah, Tiny Mike.
Tiny Mike.
Average.
No, I want to ask the questions. Tiny Mike.
On 94.5 ESPN.
All right, Chew, so if you watched college football this weekend, you saw a lot of drama. And it wasn't just contained to the end of the Ohio State-Michigan game, which Michigan won, and Ryan Day now just showing he cannot beat Michigan. I think he's done it one time out of the 5 tries. The flag planting, that really got your dander going, huh? You are not into these teams celebrating their victories by planting their flags on the opponent's field.
No, I think it's stupid. And it's so fixable, and I'm sure it's going to be banned at some time this week, and it should be. It's just, I get it. It's kind of petty for the other team to go out there, but it's just so unnecessary. And then this goes all the way back. I don't know if you guys remember. Remember T.O. going back to Dallas?
Yes, slamming the
and
ball.
dancing on the star, and George T. goes and lays him out.
Wait a minute. What about Randy Moss with the mooning?
That's different. We're talking about the middle of the field.
Oh, the field. Okay,
Yes.
like the star. And
Because he planted the ball.
Jen, like you said, this wasn't the only fight. There were about 4 of them.
Yeah, Florida State, Florida.
It's unnecessary.
I think I even saw Steve Sarkisian running out to the field when his team was in College Station, telling him, "You're not celebrating on the center of the field." I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it. This is the pomp and circumstance of college football that I appreciate. We are talking about 18 to 27 now. I mean, with the transfer portal.
30. How old's Cam McCormick?
So you're okay? You're okay with players being pepper sprayed at the end of games?
No, stop.
I just think it's
you get out of here. I'm not okay with the way that the law enforcement handled it. I think Ohio State bleeped it up. I think Ohio State messed it up. You lost the damn game. To the victors, and in this case it was the victors, hail to the victors, go the spoils. Part of winning a big game like that is being able to celebrate it. You know what you do? You watch it. Or you go back to your damn locker room. This baby attitude of like, oh, they planted a flag on our field. If you felt so strongly about not losing the game, do something during the game. My goodness. Like, it's crazy to me. Well, again, we always talk about everybody protecting everybody's feelings. Like, you lost the game. It's an important game. I think it's too important for some people. It's become a borderline obsession, and it's a whole nother topic that we could get into. But, like, I don't mind teams celebrating. When you win the Paul Bunyan axe and you run around the field with the axe, is anybody sitting there getting all up in their feelings?
They have, yeah.
Well, again, sorry. Deal with it.
I think the point here is we can't trust the kids on the field.
You can. The coaches need to say, no. You watch them celebrate on your field. I hope it burns. I hope it stings. I hope it leaves a lasting impression that you never want to feel that way again. And you use it as motivation. So the next time you go out there and have something similar on the line, you don't let it happen. You work a little harder. You fight a little more, Chew.
Where do you stand on storming the court in basketball, though, Jen?
Love it. I love it.
You love it?
I love celebrating. I know the fans in the stands didn't, play on the floor. But if you believe in a home field advantage, you believe in contributing to your team, it's a big thing. Again, we're talking about football and basketball, and maybe it's apples to oranges. But if you're a fan and you're making noise and you're creating a hostile environment for your opponents, I believe that you should be able to partake in the celebration. I like it. I don't like that they fine them. I don't like that they're trying to cut down on it. If I were a coach, I'd tell them, go ahead. I'll cover it.
What was the hand signal that Texas couldn't do anymore when they played?
Horns down, right?
Horns down, yes.
Yeah. Horns down. I mean, yeah. Did we get a little too sensitive here? I just think, I don't know. Do you think they're going to outlaw it?
Maybe, possibly. The pepper spray thing I don't think helps.
No, I wouldn't think so.
But again, I think, this goes back to Ryan Day needed to say, no. Stand here on your sideline and watch them celebrate on your field. But he was too stunned by the fact that he lost again to Michigan to even be able to be in an authoritative position at that point.
The flag plant's like a new thing. Like that started with with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like one of those sworn-in tradition things that has any. The action of it is to entice people to get mad.
Yeah, but that's what rivalries are.
But they hadn't been for a long time. It is now a new portion of rivalries where somehow a flag becomes some sort of signal. Like, it is to provoke.
No, I disagree with you on that. I think there has always been a deep-seated hate between these rivals.
Right, but the action of it is to provoke. As teams continued to do it throughout the day on Saturday, they obviously had seen what had happened.
So, Jen, if somehow the Bears beat the Packers the last game of the year, you'd have no problem with a Bears player going out and planting a flag.
No, we're talking about, this is the difference here, college football versus the pros. I think in college football, you still want to pour into, you still want to capture that rivalry, the pageantry. I think college football is different than the professional ranks. And I think that, like, you're talking about 18 to 20 blank-year-old kids. I think they should be able to celebrate. I think that if you're on the losing end of a big game, you deal with it. You deal with the celebration. You deal with the other team reveling in the victory and whatever it took to get that victory. I think it elevates those games.
I think the players are telling you they're not going to take it, though, which is a problem.
And again, my position would be, then you should have done better during the game, between the whistles.
Right, that's fine. I understand. And I don't necessarily even disagree, but the actions have shown us those players are not going to take that. That was they refuted that process. So what are we going to do now if this continues to happen as it did? Was it 4 times it happened on Saturday alone?
I'm not sure. I saw the Ohio State-Michigan one. I saw the Florida State-Florida one. I know that Steve Sarkisian was running out to corral his guys when it seemed like they were trying to do something in the middle of the field in College Station. I'm not sure if there was another one out there. I think a lot of what we saw on Saturday was a product of what we saw in Ohio State-Michigan. And they call Ohio State-Michigan the game because it is, for whatever reason, on another level from some of these other rivalries, whether you agree with that or not. You know, I'm sure there are people in the Deep South, Chew, who would say that, Alabama-Auburn is just as, vitriolic as Ohio State-Michigan.
But, Jen, I remember on recruiting visits with my boys, you'd go into not all places they visited, but you go into a lot of locker rooms where they have their school symbol in the middle of the locker room, and they have like velvet ropes around it where no one is allowed to walk on it. So they hold that sacred, and I guarantee Ryan Day was probably all for, like, you don't let him plant the flag on the O. I think most coaches are that way.
I think Ryan Day looked catatonic at the end of that game. I'm not sure how much he should.
Yeah, he should.
We got to get to Rob Demovsky. He's coming up next here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Maybe we'll fashion a poll out of this. How do you feel about the old flag planting? Josh and I will work on it during the break. Rob Demovsky next.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94 slowing down still a little bit from 68th Street to 35th, and a little bit more of a backup once you get past the Marquette onto 794 eastbound towards Lincoln Memorial Drive. But overall, everything else is looking just fine. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. This season, try their newest holiday pastry, Eggnog Kringle. Go to kringle.com to order or call 1-800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, mostly cloudy, turning partly cloudy, flurries, a high of 32. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 21. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee, packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Bengo made his list and checked it twice. Turns out Bucs fans are really nice. Slay the holidays with a limited time ticket offer that will land you at the top of Bengo's nice list. Score gifts for the Bucs fans in your life. And treat yourself, too. Holiday packages feature ticket codes to redeem now or use later. Exclusive Bucs holiday items. And an e-gift card that can be used to eat, drink, and be merry at Fiserv Forum. Explore options at bucks.com/deal season.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here. 'Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them this holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. From a spectacular brunch with Santa to the holiday marketplace and one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences, St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week through the holiday season. Make a night of it and extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at St. Kate. Special packages are now available. Celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, and coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection, why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We need a new intro for this year, though.
All right, we'll work on it.
Consider it done, Rob.
ESPN's #1 source for green and gold information.
Look, I would suspect that we don't see Malik Willis throw the ball down the field a whole lot, especially early. But it would not surprise me if we got back to more of the quick West Coast stuff.
Our most musically inclined and bald guest.
I was overly harsh about Gabe's golf game because I played terrible yesterday.
It's funny.
It's Rob Demovsky.
This better be a great segment.
On Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Always great to check in with our friend Rob Demovsky on the green and gold. Rob, did you have a good Thanksgiving break?
It really wasn't much of a break, Jen. Although Saturday was like a Tuesday, so that was a day off-ish, so that was good.
Chewy understands all that. He always talks about Thursday.
Yeah, I love the language. Yeah. Tuesday on a Friday, a Monday on a Wednesday.
It was. What was really weird was being at the facility yesterday while games were going on.
Sure.
We've been there on Thanksgiving when they practice and don't play on Thanksgiving, but that's just one game going on. But yesterday was, it was a regular Sunday, even though it was a Wednesday in our world. And guys were in the locker room watching the end of the Vikings game, and all kinds of games going on. It was kind of cool.
All right, Rob. So the line right now in this game is -3.5. Lions favored by 3.5. What do you make of how close the spread is on the road against the Lions? Does this mean people are sort of respecting the momentum that Green Bay has put together here?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. It opened at 5 or 5.5?
I saw 5.5.
Yeah, I think the Lions are so banged up defensively. They lost a couple of D linemen in their game on Thanksgiving that I would think that has to play a factor in it as well. It's a little bit of a different defense than they saw a few weeks ago just because of all the injuries.
Rob, you understand the psychology of the game. Holmgren would always say it's very hard for a team to beat another team 3 times in 1 year. So with that being said, if we believe that the NFC Championship, even if the Packers win this game, are going to still go through Detroit, what do you think would be the best outcome of the game? Because I would say, just as a psychology of the player, I would say lose by a last-minute field goal, lose by 3.
I get where you're going, but I still would like to be able to say that if we have to go back there in an NFC Championship game, that we as a group here, that this group, we in the locker room can say we just went in there and won on December 5th. Right, if we have to play them in late January, to me that's the mental outlook that I would want if I were on that team. We went in there, we can do it once, we did it once, we can do it again. That's sort of the approach I think would serve them best. Although I do understand the it's really hard to believe or to beat a team 3 times. I get that as well.
Rob Demovsky hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy as he does each and every Monday. Have the Packers played well enough in any of their games this season, Rob, to beat the Lions this week, or will they have to take their efforts to another level in order to walk out of there with the W?
Yeah, does it have to be their best game, Jen? Yeah, I mean, probably. They played pretty well against San Francisco. Obviously played really well against Miami, getting out to those big leads. I think they're trending in the right direction, which is a good sign. There's certainly a couple of areas, most notably penalties, that you can't commit penalties in those types of environments, like you're going to see in Detroit on Thursday, and get away with it. But yeah, I would say that they can't play. The game has to be a continuation of the trend they're on. They can't just sort of go in on a level that they've been at. They probably do need to play their best game, but I do think it's trending in the right direction.
Rob, did you see what Tucker Kraft said about Kirby Joseph? Basically, kind of very nicely call him out a dirty player. I was just wondering if LaFleur is okay with bulletin board material, because back in the day, if someone said something like that when Holmgren was the coach, you'd be in his office.
Rob, I'll read you the quote.
Okay.
It says, he's a respectable player in the NFC. In my mind, I'm not too worried about DBs. I'm more worried about the guys in the box. And then he goes on to say, I know he's a dangerous player. He can flip games. He's a good DB. I might not agree with some of the places he likes to lay contact. He's taken out some of my brothers out of the game. I think about that too. So if I get a chance to get my hands on him, playing football.
Well, first of all, we know Tucker Kraft's mantra is never let a DB bring him down, right? So he's gonna go in with that approach. Kirby had the pick 6, right, in the game here a few weeks ago. This is a guy that they better be careful of. To answer your question, Chewy, though, about LaFleur, I don't think that stuff bothers him necessarily. I don't think there's going to be a call to come down to the principal's office. I don't think he does that much anyway, like Holmgren used to do. Holmgren would call reporters in there and chew their butts out too. So, a lot of us were on the receiving end of a few of those tongue lashings, and LaFleur, at least not with me, he's never done that. So, I think it's a little different approach, but I don't think Tucker's totally out of line. Now, you don't want him going in there and taking some sort of a cheap shot, because LaFleur did say a couple of weeks ago, right? Remember it was Elton had maybe it wasn't Elton. There was somebody who had a post-snap penalty or post-whistle penalty, and he said, you do that again, you're going to be standing next to me with your helmet in your hand on the sideline. So that's about as strong as LaFleur has gone in a situation like that. And he hasn't had anybody over standing next to him. I don't know if he's followed through on that.
Rob, we put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll this morning. Chew, did you want to go ahead?
No, go ahead.
We asked which team is under more pressure this Thursday, the Packers or the Lions? And we've come at it from both ways. Some people say the Packers have more pressure as the team that's chasing. Others say in order to hold on to that top spot, that top seed, the pressure is all on the Lions. Who do you think has more pressure?
Well, I think there is this, Jen. Like, if the Packers don't win, they can probably kiss their division hopes goodbye, right? So, I don't know if that's pressure or that's just the reality of the situation, and that they're now, I was going to say doomed to be a wild card, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'd be destined to be a wild card if they don't win the game. I think the rest of the league is looking at Detroit as the team in the NFC, and I think with that comes an inherent pressure. Winning 10 games in a row is an inherent pressure. I guess I would say that it'd be more on the Lions at this point than the Packers.
Rob, can we expect Dobbs and Jair to play on Thursday?
Yeah, with Dobbs, I would think so. He practiced yesterday, which is one of the big steps in going through the protocol. He's still in the protocol. But, assuming that he's back out there again today, that would mean that he passed that step that he needed to take yesterday and is on to the next one. So that's trending in the right direction. With Jair Chewy, man, I mean, it's hard to say, but he was practicing yesterday as well. But with him, it's just so hard to predict.
Rob, we want to talk to you about the flag planting. We discussed it briefly. Probably needed a little more time to discuss it before, but you saw what happened this weekend with Ohio State and Michigan, and then, of course, in some of the other games that followed, Florida State. We talked about how Arizona State tried to plant a pitchfork on the field in their rivalry game this weekend. Where do you stand on that display of celebration in these college football games?
Well, look, I've seen it happen in high school up here. Our school, the De Pere Redbirds, a few years ago won at Bayport, the mighty Bayport, who won a state championship. This year they beat them up there in Bayport and ran out and celebrated on the pirate logo. I can't remember if there was a flag. I think there was a flag planted. And then when Bayport beat us in basketball, they kind of celebrated on the bird on our basketball court. And in neither case did it get physical. I mean, high school is not going to do that. But I guess here's my take on it. If you want to plant, if you beat us and you want to celebrate and plant the flag on half court or midfield in high major college football, go ahead. But just know that we might go after you. There might be a fracas, and I think that's fine. I don't necessarily think. The cops need to come in. And, I mean, yeah, it needs to be broken up after a little bit, like a hockey fight, right? Let them go for a little bit and then step in and separate them. So I don't have a problem with either one. I think it adds to it. As long as nobody gets hurt, I think it's all right.
What about on the professional level, Rob? Say the Bears somehow beat the Packers last game of the year, their season's done, and go out there and plant the flag there.
Well, I mean, there you're talking about, financial implications career-wise if a guy gets hurt and misses the next game or something. I think in the NFL, I don't see that happening. I don't see it necessarily going that way. It's kind of like in the NBA, when a game's over, they don't even shake hands. They just give a little bit of wave off to the other team, and that's it. If you want to do it, just go ahead and get off my field after you're done, I guess. I don't see that becoming a thing in the NFL.
Well, there was another thing I saw this weekend where there was one team. Was it Nebraska? I feel like it was Nebraska. I'm going back through my database from this weekend. Did they not shake hands before the game? Was that a thing where they were refusing
against
to?
Iowa. At the coin toss?
There we go. Thank you. Yes. All right. I like it when my brain comes through for me. So you said fracas. That's a fun word. I say melee. Melee is my go-to in these types of things. Ruckus, brouhaha. Josh, you got a preference on which of those words is most appropriate for what we saw on Saturday?
I like brouhaha. That one seems to be the best. It is fun to say. Fracas is great. It brings up a lot of imagination to me. There's a lot of words in an escalating scale. You can go all the way up to a full-out war that is between the two people. If you really feel like it, what Michigan Ohio State looked like, that was out of control.
That was a tussle. Yeah. No, that was higher than a tussle. That was shoving. That was a scuffle.
Jen, I think melee that's the top of the top. That's an all-out chaos, right? Fracas is a little bit of a, it's escalated, but it's not a full-out just brawl.
You got a ruckus. What about ruckus? How do we feel about ruckus?
Yeah, I think ruckus is still lower on the scale. It's just starting when it's a ruckus. It could turn into a fracas, which then becomes a melee.
How about misdemeanor?
That's just a couple of guys going off. Remember this is a long old 1950s or 60s boxing term, but a Donnybrook.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
Donnybrook.
sure. I love Donnybrook.
Oh, that's a fun
slobber
one.
knocker.
Oh, that's a great one. Good old-fashioned slobber knocker. I think brouhaha is still the fun one to say. But we got some good ones there. A skirmish, a brouhaha, a ruckus, melee.
Skirmish is that's just a little pushing and shoving, though.
So skirmish is low on the power rankings.
That
Skirmish.
might be the bottom. Yes, skirmish is the start. That's at the very bottom of the pyramid.
Skirmish above scuffle or below scuffle?
Same tier, I think.
More, I think.
Yeah.
Altercation feels like the one the AP would approve of, though, don't you think, Rob? There was an altercation.
Yeah.
We forgot about fisticuffs.
Well, fisticuffs, that's right up there with melee, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with Rob.
All right, Rob. Now we've wasted enough of your time with the thesaurus over here. Have a great one. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, we'll see you.
Bit of a Donnybrook there at the end, huh? Is that right? No?
You could.
Rough and tumble?
I think there need to be more contention.
Yeah. Horseplay. No. Horseplay's more like wrestling, right?
Slobber. What did you say, Joshy? Slobber knocker? That sounds like there's booze involved. Hey, when we come back, Jen, I need judge and jury.
Uh-oh.
I got ratted. And it doesn't even rise to the level of ratting, but can we talk about it when I get back?
Somebody did a little ratting. Yeah, we can talk about the ratting. You want me to be judge, jury?
Yeah, you and Joshy.
Judge Jen, Judge Josh. Wow, that's tough to say. Let me tell you about my friends over at Accutrans. They're a veteran-owned business dedicated to providing unmatched corporate, personal, and event-related transportation that you will use again and again. You guys have heard me talk about Accutrans because when I have to go down to O'Hare, I use Accutrans to get me there and get me home safely. It is the holiday season, guys, and that means you're going to have holiday parties and events and things where you want to have a good time and might not want to drive. Solution, Accutrans. Call them up, check their website, AccuTransGroup.com. There you can get a quote, book a reservation today. Why drive when Accutrans can handle it for you? It's AccuTransGroup.com for reliable and safe transportation. It is the only group that I use for my transportation this holiday season.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouthwatering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Kevin Moret for Mentality Men's Health. Guys, I know you hate to feel weak. That means something different for every guy, but for most guys, it means the way they look and move through their day. Did you know that 70% of Mentality clients see an increase in their muscle mass, their muscle tone, and the way they look? This means our clients got their confidence back. If you're looking to look and feel the way you did years ago, join the over 25,000 guys at Mentality and get your confidence back. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Adam Schefter here with Vivid Seats. We've got some late-breaking news coming out of the stands. According to multiple sources, Vivid Seats fans are scoring rewards on every purchase and at a rapid pace. Obviously, these rewards are a game changer, and coupled with their MVP-worthy ticket selection, why get tickets anywhere else? Don't drop the ball this season. Shop with Vivid Seats and earn rewards on every ticket. And as the official ticketing partner of ESPN, Vivid Seats is offering you $20 off your first $200 ticket purchase with code Schefter. That's code Schefter.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
It's the most wonderful time to bar crawl. Get ready for Milwaukee's 11th annual 12 Bars of Christmas on December 14th from noon to 5 p.m. 3 festive locations, Water Street, MLK Drive, and Brady Street, packed with holiday cheer. Your ticket includes a lanyard for food and drink specials, a holiday mug, and free entry at every stop, all while supporting Toys for Tots. Dust off your ugliest sweater, grab your friends, and join the city's biggest Christmas party. Tickets are limited, so don't wait. Head to 12bocwi.com to grab yours now. 21 plus only. Please drink responsibly.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Ryan and McGuanago weighing in. Hey, if you find something that sucks for 25 years, you hold on to that.
Yeah, that is
Very good point.
Because usually the sucking only happens before you get married, and then the sucking just stops.
We're going to get fired.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go.
Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them this holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. Guys, have you been to the spectacular brunch with Santa or the holiday marketplace or one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences? If you haven't, this is the year to do it. St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week during the holiday season, or you can make a night of it. Extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at St. Kate. Packages are now available. Celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays. All right, Chew, what you got?
All right, let me set the stage. Someone ratted me out. So between breaks, I go out of my little studio here and walk around the backyard, get a little sun. And my wife's office is on the second level, so she comes out onto the balcony and says, I heard you were making false statements on the radio. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, someone texted me what you said. And it had to deal with shopping and the decorations. Okay? So, Jen, let me ask you this. We'll start with the decorations. If I take out all the decorations out of storage and place them where they're supposed to be around the house, is that helping set up the decorations?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Didn't get credit for that. Says I got no credit. And now the shopping part. We had a 4-hour drive to St. Augustine, right?
Well, it was 3.5
and
before,
she's
okay.
on her iPad, and she's like, hey, go on this website, get the sizes, what you want, and I send them to her. Now, I didn't physically put the credit card number in or things like that, but am I not assisting in getting all of the Christmas gifts?
Yes, there is absolutely an assistant role taking place here.
So I don't think that's rises to the level of an apology, even though I will do it because my life will be easier. I apologize for saying that on the air.
Wait, so she's saying that she wanted you to give her all the credit, even though you did these things that sort of led to...
Yep. I mean, just because I physically didn't put the balls on the tree...
But you brought them up from storage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dar did all that yesterday, by the way. He climbed down there into the crawl space and pulled those boxes out, and that's fine by me because I don't want to do that. Right? That's
so
where
are you
that's where
dropping the
say,
charges?
That's where
Are
I say,
charges being dropped?
I can't drop the charges. She has to drop the charges, but I would rule in your favor if that matters.
Joshy, will you pardon me?
I'm on Angie's side.
Joshy doesn't even need to hear the situation.
Yep, mm-hmm.
He, by default,
Yeah.
is always on Angie's side.
Self-preservation.
And that's why I apologize.
Thanks for hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Wilde and Tausch is next here on Lions Week for the Green Bay Packers on ESPN Milwaukee. We do have a